All right, it's time for another rapid fire answering of your questions, volume 4. Now, if you don't know how this works, it's pretty simple. We basically take random comments in the comments section below our YouTube channel and basically answer them. That's pretty much it. If you want to get featured on this, well, usually the best way is to simply just leave a comment below this video with whatever your question is, and usually when we go to the next volume, I start on these videos picking random comments. So without further ado, let's begin. Marissa Knights asks, my ex and I broke up twice and got back together once. He got a new girlfriend after 4 months of breaking up the second time, and it was with a girl he talked poorly of and claimed he didn't like anymore. When we got back together, they've already said I love you a month within their relationship, and they keep posting a lot. Should I be liking his posts of them or avoiding them entirely? Because I do want to try to get him back. So there's a lot going on in this situation. The first thing I would say is it looks like your ex definitely has the grass is greener syndrome. This is actually a huge problem we see in on-again, off-again relationships, which I also noticed you seem to have, where you broke up with him or he broke up with you before, you got back together, you break up again. Usually this indicates that you or your ex haven't solved whatever issues were present the first go around. And my guess is it has something to do with his incessant need of thinking he can do better than you. So obviously when he has the grass is greener syndrome and dates someone new that he spoke poorly of before, he's thinking that this person could better fulfill his needs than you. And what's always interesting about the grass is greener syndrome, or a thing that I think is lost on a lot of people, is the fact that usually when your ex does find someone new via the grass is greener syndrome, someone that they think will fulfill their needs better, they always believe at first that this person is doing just that because they get fooled by the honeymoon period. I wouldn't be alarmed if they've said, I love you already. It's most likely an overreaction due to the fact that you just broke up or you've been on this on-again, off-again phase. And also the honeymoon period is in existence at this point. As far as you liking their photos, I personally think you should do whatever you think is best with regards to showing that you are not bothered by it. My opinion, indifference is the best way to approach it. So if you like every photo that they're posted together on, it almost looks like you're spying and that you can't get over it, as opposed to someone who's indifferent, they just simply don't care. Grace asks, what if he was my crush or boss? He has a girlfriend but was always playing hot and cold with me. I got upset and left. He was very upset. He turned to me and said, we're done, and sad to say everything about you is bad. Sorry. Did he say it to be mean and hurt me, or did he mean it? Can it turn around? He texted it to me. Well, there's a couple of layers here as well. The first thing I would say is, generally speaking, if you are the other woman, you are essentially the other woman. So it's not usually a great situation to be in, and that's what it seems like this was. So the first thing I would say to you is, if he has a girlfriend and he's dating you and you know about this, what's to stop him from doing the same thing to you if you became official and he broke up with this new girl? Now, as far as what to do next in your situation, and he said all of these mean things to you, a lot of times anger has more to do with the person projecting what they're thinking onto you and a lack of responsibility. In some way, I think he feels a lot of guilt about cheating on his current girlfriend, and you are being blamed for that, which is kind of a really weird approach to looking at the world through these weird lens, but I think that's what's going on here. So if you want my opinion, he doesn't actually mean it when he says he hates you or he doesn't like you. He's upset because of one of two things. Number one is he's not getting his way. You're not fawning over him like he wants and he's throwing a tantrum. Number two is, I think there's a lot of guilt inside about how he's treating his current girlfriend, and he's projecting that onto you because you are the source of the guilt. Real quick, I want to say that if you're new to this YouTube channel or you're trying to figure out what you should be doing to get your ex back and you're trying to learn if you even have a chance in your specific circumstance, probably the smartest thing for you to do is actually stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or take our X Recovery Chances quiz that can be found at exboyfriendrecovery.com. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, taking that free quiz is super easy to do. All you have to simply do is look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will take you directly to the quiz where you can fill it out and get an easy answer on what you should be doing going forward and overall what your chances look like in your specific situation. All right, so let's get you back to the video. Keep Growing asks, well, what if the grass is greener on the other side? And it's true in my ex's case. Well, remember that very first question that I just answered? I kind of alluded to your answer in that, which is there's a huge misconception about the grass is greener syndrome. They always think that it's a linear scale and the fact that it will never change. But what I'm trying to point out to people is it is true that they could find the one, they could find someone where the grass is greener on the other side. And almost always that's the case at first. They break up with you because they think they can do better than you. They date someone and in the midst of the honeymoon period, they feel relieved about the fact that they made the right decision. But what happens when that honeymoon period wears off? Well, that's when the true comparisons begin. They start comparing how they feel with this new person as to how they felt with you. And usually that's when sort of the allure wears off and the rebound sort of like, this feels icky kicks in. John Bishop asks, what kind of time frame would you expect this all to happen? Now, John is not talking about the grass is greener syndrome, which has been oddly a weird theme in this sort of question and answer video. He's actually talking more about the general strategy of trying to get an ex back and how long that takes. This is actually one of the most asked questions that we get on ex-boyfriend recovery and ex-girlfriend recovery. So, I wish I had a great answer for you. Ultimately, it depends on your situation. Here's what I can tell you. Our average success story happens usually between month 3 to month 7. Now, I say that, and that's a really broad range, but I also am going to make it a little bit broader by saying that's only after people start working with us do we actually start counting. So if they tried to get their ex back without our program, we are actually not counting that time. So if they spent 2 months trying to do things their way and said this isn't working and then come start working with us, we're only counting from the moment they start working with us and not the 2 months prior. So it could actually be longer. We also know that if your ex is avoidant, like many of the exes we see our clients have, it will just naturally take longer because avoidants have this sort of time dilation phase going on where they don't experience time the same way. So you have to be extra patient. And finally, we got Sage Oldman, who says, why would you take an ex back? If they leave you once, they will leave you again. Just move on. There's exes for a reason. It's funny, I actually just did a video talking about this stereotype, which is there's this misconception that I think a lot of people have that once an ex, always an ex, or that once you break up, things can never work out. And unfortunately, in most cases, that's true. We have found that for our success stories, people who've gotten back with their exes, half of them end up breaking up again because they're not able to overcome the problems that really led to the first breakup in the first place. But that's not always true in every situation, Sage. And that's the thing I think is lost on a lot of people. What do you say to my clients who got their exes back and are now married to them? Well, they would have a much different perspective on breakups than potentially you have. Now, I'm not saying anything's bad about the way you're looking at breakups. All I'm saying is a lot of times I have found people who say exes are exes for a reason, or, why would you ever want to come back, have never actually experienced a situation where they have ever wanted an ex back, and that's okay. But what's important to understand is your experience is not the same as everyone else's experience. All right, so like I said, if you want to be featured on one of these question and answer videos, probably your best bet is to literally leave a comment below asking me your question, and we will see what we can do about featuring it in our next Volume 5 rapid fire question video. In the meantime, probably the smartest thing you should do if you're considering trying to get an ex back is to hop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, to take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. It's a simple, free 2-minute quiz designed to basically tell you what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back. And all you have to do if you want to take that quiz is simply look in the description below this YouTube video and click on it. Take you directly to the quiz where we will get you taken care of. All right, that's gonna do it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching these videos. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.